So there's a significant anniversary coming up, and I just want to take a minute to think of the victims of that fateful day. And of course, the anniversary I'm referring to is the 1.5-year anniversary of these kids going to spring break. Sorry, that may have been misleading. I was playing around with some screensavers. But these kids got absolutely slammed on the internet for going on spring break, and it's more dangerous COVID-wise to travel now than it is back then. But nobody cares now. And I think these kids deserve an apology, and I may be the worst person to do that. But why not do it anyway? It's either do this or have a social life. So first up, we got Brady Slaughter. I mean, that name alone, Slaughter, that's a frat name. And a fun fact about Brady, he's actually the last person you'll see at a frat party before you get Bill Cosby'd. So let's get into it.
I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying. You know, we've been waiting for Miami spring break for a while. About 2 months we've had this trip planned. 2-3 months. So we're just out here having a good time. Whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens. Couldn't say it better myself. He actually said the same thing when he pushed the pledge down the basement stairs. And he turned to his brothers. He's like, hey, if we get kicked off campus, we get kicked off campus. Also, why aren't we asking him about health questions? I mean, he looks like he's one fentanyl-laced line of cocaine from keeling over and dying. He's got a red face, his nose is stuffed. He could have COVID then. He could be dead from COVID now. Or the cocaine. I don't know. But he deserves an apology. Moving on.
Like, it's really messing up with my spring break. What is there to do here other than go to the bars or the beach, and they're closing all of it? It's really messing up. I think they're blowing it way out of proportion. I think it's doing way too much.
Doing us bad.
I like how they cut her off as soon as they say they're blowing it way out of proportion. I want to see the rest of that interview, really, because she definitely goes down a QAnon rabbit hole. She's like, they're blowing it way out of proportion. It's all too much. You're interviewing me about COVID. You should be interviewing these pizza parlors about the children they keep in their basement. Or it'd be even funnier if she was a neo-Nazi. She was like, yeah, they're blowing it way out of proportion. It's all too much. Fauci is telling us to stay inside. I say Fauci like that because you've seen him talk. He sounds kind of Jewish. And he knows we're down here in Miami. And honestly, the weather for Miami, kind of shitty. And I think I know who to blame for that. All right, enough QAnon and neo-Nazi. But she looks like a person. Come on, she looks like a person who would be caught up in a cult, right? She looks like 10 years from now she's going to be like a girl who escaped the cult. I mean,
doing way too much.
Doing us bad. We need a refund. This virus ain't that serious. It's serious. It's more serious things out there like hunger and poverty, and we need to address that.
This kid is the smartest kid of the bunch. He is high as a kite. He's high as a kite. No one says hunger and poverty with that big of a smile. But he made a hell of a move by wearing the sunglasses. So when he gets home, his Meemaw doesn't beat the shit out of him for saying that. All right. Kudos. Apology to Atlantis. I think that was his name.
Yeah, I mean, we planned this a long time ago, and it was kind of up in the air if we still go, but like we're.
She planned this a long time ago, and you can tell that from all the acorns she stored in her cheeks in the meantime.
Here, I just turned 21 this year, so I'm here to party, so it's kind of disappointing, but we're just making the most of it. We met these other people in our little Airbnb spot, so we're just hanging out with them and trying to get drunk before everything closes.
Imagine being the person at the Airbnb spot, like being the dude right next to her, and she's like, hey, you want to get drunk before everything closes? And you're just like, actually, I know I flew all the way down here to Miami, but I am now going to take the virus very seriously. So could you please stay away from me as far away as possible? Thank you. But she deserves an apology. Apology to Shelby.
I mean, it sucks, but we're going to make the best of it. We're enjoying ourselves. It sucks. And I'm from New Orleans, so this really sucks. However, we're going to enjoy ourselves. We having day parties all day. It's my birthday, St. Patrick's Day. Turn up.
I love the quote there where she goes, it sucks, and I'm from New Orleans, so it really sucks. I assume she's referring because of the things are closing and she's far away from home. But really that sentence should go, it sucks, And I'm from New Orleans, so this really isn't that bad. Ever heard of Hurricane Katrina, where it flooded an entire city? It saturated the ground so much that coffins were popping out of graveyards and floating down the street. Our house was completely underwater. Our only chance was to go up on the roof. But me and my mother were not able to hoist ourselves all the way up there. So we decided to float out into the street and use a coffin as a surfboard. And we surfed that, flood all the way to the Superdome, where we were greeted by the Red Cross. And they handed us a blanket and a hot coffee. And I'll never forget having the blanket and the hot coffee and turning to my mother and being like, turn up. All right, that was dumb. Bryson Taylor, saving the best for last.
Trying to roll with the boy. We're just living for the moment. We're just going to do what happens when it happens. When stuff closes, we're going to do it when it closes. But besides that, we're just trying to have the best chip we can.
When things closes, we'll do it. No, we got to go. We got to hear what he has to say right here. When stuff closes, we're going to do it when it closes. Do what? It's closed. What are you going to loot? Like, what's up, man? But I like
it happens when it happens. When stuff closes, we're going to do it when it closes. But besides that, we're just trying to have the best chip we can.
And when he's referring to trip, he's referring to the shroom trip he's on. But shout out to CBS News for ruining these kids' lives. So turn up.